know how we started talking about Beyonce, but I don't want to talk about Beyonce no more.
What's going on?
I'm done with
We've been talking about damn Beyonce. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
What's up with it?
Hi.
Yeah. Back like we never left because we never did.
We took a month break.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Which is good. No, people should take breaks. You should take breaks from these things.
Put it to you that way.
Should absolutely be taking breaks.
Put it
And we
to you
needed
that
it. We're very tired.
Yeah, put it to you that way. Happy Black August. Welcome to another episode of
Hood Rat to
Head Rap. And the place to be.
To head rap.
Like I said, Jared Kushner probably owned majority stake and these LaBoozles, and y'all gonna justify
say
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I will throw
it's
this
probably
away.
BlackRock.
I got this for free.
Vanguard.
I didn't buy this. I want one for my birthday though.
Yeah, it's all type of. I'm already knowing.
Why you pause?
Y'all won't look for the manufacturer.
Did you hear what I said? Maybe East can get
y'all
it from
playing
me.
with dolls. These is the new Furbies. When we was younger, we used to
It's
play
like
with
a bag
Furbies.
chain. It's a bag charm. So I don't play with this. Don't play me. I don't play with
Erica,
it.
look.
It's an accessory
I don't see
that I've
it.
taken off my
I'm
purse.
not seeing for it. I don't see it for it, and I don't think that you grown adults should be. The children had a corner market on these things. Y'all making it harder for these kids.
Are we making it harder?
These
I don't even think
kids-
it's marketed to the kids.
That's a shame. It's marketed to somebody. You can sell anything. You can sell water to a damn well. You can sell water to a well if you put it on TikTok. If Wells was on TikTok, they'd be buying water.
Why do
by
you
the
think it's
dozen.
TikTok? It is. I'm not even gonna argue with you.
I don't even.
It
I
is.
ain't been on there lately, and I know that.
It is. So,
You understand?
how are you?
I'm hanging.
Just a check-in.
I'm hanging.
You're hanging?
We have a action-packed episode.
Action-packed.
And we have two very special guests.
Who
So
are coming in shortly.
coming in hot.
So we're checking in. You're okay? You're good?
I'm cool. You feel me?
How am I? You feel me?
You all right?
I'm fine. I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel ready. I feel so happy that my book has moved to copy editing.
That's the shit.
I haven't really
I'm
been
so
able
proud
to
of you, babe.
really thoroughly celebrate that. Thank you very
Sure.
much. But I just finished Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And I read that book in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Ebony knows that I am a very slow reader.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am, because I take notes. I take my time. And I mostly read nonfiction, right? That's a function of the work that we do.
Yeah.
But reading this fiction, I don't think I've read romance since like high school.
Yeah.
So it was just, it just enthralled me. It was so good. And it's a part of a series. Kennedy Ryan has a whole cult following, Black author, Black woman. Like, I am obsessed. I am obsessed.
Okay.
And it's a romance, but it's all about two people coming back to each other. But then it's
Yeah.
also about mental health, talks about depression, suicidal ideation. It's kids involved, so preteens and a teen. It just very Black too, right?
Yes.
At the end, it's about a couple that owns a restaurant. I'll tell you that, not to spoil it. And then at the end of the book, Kennedy Ryan has the recipes that kind of grounded the story.
Wow.
And I just thought that was so thoughtful and beautiful.
That's beautiful.
And this was her first book that she ever wrote.
Wow.
So one, I want to say that it was great to read a book that had nothing to do with the work that I do in the world. That was just kind of a break. It felt like
Yeah.
I was in a fantasy world, like watching Love Island or some
Yeah.
shit. But also, I just have so much respect for writers, like an undeniable amount of respect. Like anybody
writers.
that writes a book, my God, multiple chapters. It's just not a game. But anyway, speaking of
Now
romance,
you said it was part of the cult following that Kennedy Ryan has a cult following. You probably might be initiated into the cult because that wasn't on the bingo card. You talking about that? Erica has been reading this book voraciously.
I have.
She's been talking about it. She's been reading.
I cried.
I
cry. I don't actually cry with books, really. The last time I cried with a book was probably The Secret Life of Church Ladies. That really moved me.
Yeah.
That book, that's probably one of my favorite books I've ever read.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I probably will read that again. But I'm about to read 7 Days in June, which also has a cult following, different author, Tia Williams.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe it's Tia Williams.
Yes. Yeah, I think I might be a part of it. It was just
You
good.
are.
I think you should read it.
I'm cool. I'm cool. It could be toxic masculinity, patriarchy, y'all, whatever. I'm not interested in romance novels.
Well, it's like 350 pages.
Or
And people were like, it took too long for them to get back together because it was obvious that they really wanted to be with each other. But what Kennedy Ryan does really well is it builds the tension. That's the critique. I'm just telling you the critique of why you would probably be annoyed about it.
True.
Why you wouldn't want to read. I'm just telling you why you probably would be like.
See how she do. I mean, it's You're
Am I in the
engrossed.
cult?
You're in the cult, babe. We're not supposed to be talking about this. We on liminal time.
Kennedy. No, it is a part of what we're talking about. What we're
It
talking
is.
about today, our episode is about love, relationships, desire, attraction.
Yes.
We've had one episode where we focused on this, where we talked
had
about interracial
two.
dating.
We had an interracial dating episode, and I interviewed Erica about her experience dating whites.
This is a very
being
old
married to a
episode.
white.
This is like
It's a
3 or
very
4
old
years
episode,
ago, but it's one of the
episode
most
is off
popular.
It's off the chain.
Yeah.
So it ain't no shame in going back and listening to that. Y'all talking about Kennedy Ryan and this and that. You need to be talking about hood rap to head rap.
You can
Where's
do
our
both.
code?
You can do where's our goal?
Look, I
Hood
got
rap to head. We do have merch.
Yeah.
This conversation we have been in, it has spun from, I don't think we're going to focus so much on this because I feel like
No.
all points have pretty much been covered on the internet by multiple people, including us. But it has spun from Laverne Cox taking to the internet she did a live, and then she cut up the live, and the part of the live that she shared was talking about being with a MAGA NYPD white person, blonde hair, blue-eyed white person that she was in a relationship for about 4 years with. And
Yes.
that was her promo to go to her one-woman show, which I did attend. So we've been talking about desire, which is what Deshaun Harrison was on the panel with Olay and Friends, which had Laverne Cox, Hope Giselle, Kat Black,
Dominique Morgan,
and
Quest.
but mostly Black trans women having a candid conversation with Laverne Cox and Deshaun,
Who is agender, non-binary, really agender.
a gender abolitionist.
Yes.
is how Deshaun identifies.
Yes.
So this has spun a conversation about desire, right? Because that's the framework that we've all kind of been talking about that Laverne didn't necessarily bring. Laverne got a lot of pushback from white folks, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I saw giving Laverne pushback were white people. And I think that is very, very interesting because white people, as we've talked about many times, it's all about aesthetic.
Yes.
It's all about how things look. If Laverne was with a Black person who was MAGA, I don't know that it would have gotten that much pushback.
I think that it would have invoked more ire.
You think so?
Yes.
More ire.
More ire. For the simple fact that, I mean, at the end of the day, white people...
From white people, though?
At the end of the day, I don't believe that white people are capable of principal critiques of Black people.
Say more.
Considering the
Why?
historical, socio-cultural context under which we live in a white supremacist capitalist patriarchy that advantages and benefits them. The system runs so that white people can exist. So that whiteness inside of desire holds value. Yeah, so that they can use their whiteness as a currency, much in the same way that Deshaun and other people talk about, many other scholars talk about desire being a type of currency, being something that has value and worth, and depending on where you fall on a white supremacist desirability metric, you can essentially ascend in society. It promises lots of upward mobility, opportunities, financial and otherwise. So I don't feel like people like that are capable or should embark on criticizing Black people, even public Black figures.
But they feel entitled to
Yes,
because
because
of their
of
whiteness.
and because of the desirability piece. If Black people are seen as some of the, it's just how we view things as well. Like you said, the aesthetic, how white people are conditioned to think about Black people is carceral.
Yeah,
Right.
I was just gonna
You
say, like,
punish.
they are literally, they are the police on the front lines. They don't need a suit and a badge. They don't need it. So they're critiquing Laverne Cox being in a relationship with NYPD, but they're not realizing that they are also police.
Or you ain't in relationship with no motherfucking cops, but y'all is also in relationships with people that's racist, anti-Black, transphobic, homophobic. Y'all friends with them. Y'all call them mother and father and stepfather and granny and meemaw and all this extra shit. Laverne spilled her own tea. Can't weaponize it against her. She said it. Why y'all get mad at Laverne? Y'all be doing the same shit.
It's a way to scapegoat Laverne.
Yes, and her being a celebrity, her public stature makes it much easier to do. So I don't have to investigate myself as a white person during a genocide that is happening for all intents and purposes to uphold whiteness and to get agreement and buy-in from other white people so that it is enforced.
Yep.
Systems and institutions are run by people.
Yep.
You need people to have wide consensus that, oh, well, it's not that bad, or, oh, we got to frame Sudan as the largest humanitarian crisis ever in order to get white people on board. Mm-hmm. Get them to want to do something about it.
I don't think that's going on a tangent a little bit. I just want to push back on that a little bit because I don't think that is to engage white people. But I'm interested in hearing what you think about that more, because I just think that that's a way to say this is the reality of the situation and y'all are not paying attention to it. In the similar ways of X amount of Palestinians have been murdered, pay attention. X amount, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, hey, this so many people have been murdered in Sudan and y'all are still not saying anything about it. So that's what I feel like it is. I don't think it's to garner white people's attention. I feel like the framing of y'all are paying more attention to Palestine than you are to Sudan. You need to consider where that's coming from. I think that's a way to engage white people, but not the degree of famine. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me try to explain it quickly. Mm-hmm. If white people are, again, I'm on my Afro-Pessimism tip, where Afro-Pessimists like to get to the origin of our global and historical condition and situation. Yep. Afro-Pessimism says, different than neoliberalism, anti-blackness is the organizing principle that has united a sort of multicultural, global, political, and social economy. Yes. That is built upon and contingent upon black people's servitude and premature death. Yes. Okay? If that is the case, the world is in a perpetual humanitarian crisis. Yeah. Even this word humanitarian. What the hell is that? Yeah. Humanitarian crisis. Yeah. It sounds like sloganeering word salad in order to have a certain group of people who struggle, who are confounded by the moral authority, morals, ethics, who make justifications for shit. Well, I don't know. Well, you know, Noam Chomsky, somebody I actually quoted on this podcast, is a famous linguist, a staunch critic of Israel, more than a lot of white scholars, was just found out to be in the Epstein files and did business with the serial rapist and pedophile, wrote a happy birthday message and was doing business with Jeffrey Epstein after Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted of abusing a child. Noam Chomsky said in his defense, well, he went through the criminal justice system, so his slate should be clean. Oh, that was essentially his answer. He wrote in one of the same birthday cards or around the same time, it was found in the same book, as a former Israeli prime minister who Noam Chomsky criticized. Okay. If Noam Chomsky, who been coming for Israel since the 90s, is praised by people like Edward Said, a Palestinian, right? Like if Edward Said in the 90s, rest his soul, he's passed now, is fucking with Noam Chomsky, that goes to show you that Noam Chomsky is somebody who is normally a progressive liberal white person. They're in Epstein files. The point being is that white people are not the people we can ever rely on. Even when I be reading about Israel and the U.S.'s relationship, I even was reading it with that in the back of my mind, like, Noam Chomsky is still white. He's still a white cis man. What is Noam Chomsky's desirability politic?
Oh, it's very good.
What is Noam Chomsky's inner thoughts? Private life.
How do you connect this to the Sudan piece?
I connect it because who needs to be told? Who needs to be told that something is humanitarian in nature?
Oh, it's very good.
Who needs to be told that this involves human beings?
Oh, it's good.
That people are human beings.
That's very good.
Who needs it framed in superlatives?
It's very good.
The most worst.
Got you.
Humanitarian crisis of all time.
Even the most academic,
Top notch.
organizing white person who's out here putting their life
the gold
on the line,
standard.
the gold standard, their life on the line, big quotes, because it's rare.
Inoculated. Noam Chomsky is much more now. I know why. I always used to wonder.
Yeah.
Noam Chomsky be coming for Israel neck. He ain't lost not near opportunity.
No,
he's inoculated.
What does inoculated mean, babe?
Protected. The nigga is protected. I always wonder, like, Noam Chomsky be coming for these motherfuckers.
It's true.
Oh, I know why.
You don't push up against all of them.
Nothing. Oh,
you think that it's isolated. You think that it's Israel. You don't think that there's little tiny Israels. You don't think that fucking Epstein was Netanyahu. You don't think that he was Netanyahu.
No.
And maybe he wasn't a Zionist. Let's say, because I know he was, but let's say that Epstein wasn't a Zionist.
He was.
So, but you still messing with him?
He's a pedophile.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So he wasn't a Zionist. So you can
rationalization
forgive him?
and Noam Chomsky is known for his justifications of rationalization being this very astute, almost a person known to debate well inside of linguistics. Your rationalization, he went through the criminal justice system. By that logic, his slate should be clean.
Yeah, but you got whole books about the apartheid state of Israel. And how many times have they been charged?
In the International Criminal Court.
How many times? But all the people before Netanyahu. Netanyahu was a little baby as long as Israel has been an apartheid state. So you critique the whole state, but for somehow you don't have no smoke for all the other things that are just in proximity to that same violence.
I need to understand.
Okay, you cooked that.
Do black people, do we need a whole bunch of New York Times articles to understand our experience as black people? Do we need Noam Chomsky? Do Palestinian people need Noam Chomsky, or Lebanese people need Noam Chomsky to explain to them what has happened to them?
No. You know who does need it? Noam Chomsky needs Palestinians and needs Palestinian genocide to keep a job, to keep making money. So who needs a humanitarian crisis in order to get on board and stopping it? Not the people who benefit from it. Not the people who live inside of a world organized by anti-blackness. Sudan is a genocide that is happening along racialized lines, as I've explained many times, which is why people don't care about it. Black African people, dark-skinned people are being killed. It reminds me of the slogan "Protect the Dolls" that all these white cis het or queer people are using and putting on t-shirts and things like that, and how a lot of trans people, a lot of trans women are saying, like, I don't need you to create a new slogan inside of, rainbow capitalism, right? Inside of pink washing. I need you to actually do something. Where's the money? Run me my money. Don't make another t-shirt. Don't stand on a podium and just say that. What is the actual action? But you benefit from saying protect the dolls. That the person now that I'm thinking of is not a trans woman. The person I'm now thinking of is the cis het man who said protect the dolls. I forgot the dude's name, the white actor who keeps saying protect the dolls and everybody loves it. I forgot. It doesn't matter because there'll be another one that does the same. But if people said fuck him, I don't want you to say that. Don't talk about me no more. Don't use me as some sort of opportunity so you can propel yourself in the dying acting world. Don't use me so you can continue to move up the ladder in Hollywood and forget about it nonetheless. If they said that, they would be the problem, not that person. They wouldn't even look to them.
Sylvia Rivera said protect the dolls in the 80s.
Okay.
In the 70s and the 60s.
And where's Sylvia Rivera? Where is Sylvia Rivera?
And how much money did Sylvia Rivera passed away with probably barely any
to pass away houseless
to her name. Marsha P. Johnson was murdered. Murder ain't been solved yet.
But protect the dolls.
Where is the white people in masks wearing shirts called White People Leave Bushwick? Y'all won't wear that shirt.
But that's what you just connected for me. Noam Chomsky is supporting Epstein and can't connect how supporting and defending a pedophile is not any different than somebody being a Zionist. Is the same thing as the cognitive dissonance of being like protect the dolls while you gentrify a predominantly black community. They can't make the connection. It's literally like impossible, but it's not that they can't make the connection, right? They would lose opportunities, right? They're not, it's a discomfort that you would have to sit in. And I think that's where this conversation is going, which we could come off the tangent now, I think, is that what love and desire and attraction does in so many ways is that it grants us permission to be comfortable, right? It grants us an opportunity to not have to think about systems, right? I'm not. And that's what most people are doing. It's like, well, I'm now in this relationship and that is what's most important. And if that person is a Zionist or they don't really talk about Palestine, I'm not going to interrupt that. I'm not going to end my relationship because then I have to be uncomfortable. When I talk about interracial dating, I say I'm not necessarily asserting that you just get with a black person for black people's sake, right? That you just go seek out being with a black person. I'm saying that, but I'm not saying that. But what people will say to me is that, well, if black people don't want to be with me, which is always just generally black people don't want to be with you, then I'll be single. As if single is the worst thing that could ever happen. If I don't have a white partner, then you just want me to be single? That's what they say. So you just want me to be single?
Somebody got to want me. I'm leaving here with something.
But you know what they say on Love Island? You are single and now vulnerable. If you don't have a relationship by the end of Love Island, you don't get to be runner-up. You don't get to have $100,000. If you don't match with the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, guess what happens? Goodbye. If your relationship don't work out on Temptation Island, goodbye. If your relationship don't work out on the perfect match, if you're not a perfect match based on these arbitrary nonsense things that they created, see ya. If you don't get married at the end of Love is Blind, it's
You're
done.
talking about TV shows.
But these are very popular television shows that we watch and we ingest and we normalize that everybody needs to be in relationship. What's happening? Why is the Western world invested, the Western media invested in relationships? Just like you said, let's connect the dots. Right now we're witnessing the biggest humanitarian crisis in Sudan, which 100% the United States government has their hands in.
Absolutely.
Especially a company like Apple, who just gave Trump some ugly ass disc or whatever gave him something. Apple is 100% a part of that atrocity in Sudan.
And the Congo.
And Palestine. Why is Love Island US Season 7 one of the most watched dating shows currently? 1.9 billion views. We have to sit with that. What is the role love and desire is playing? What is the role? What is the role? You know what you can't talk about on any of these shows?
Politics. Yeah.
Love is Blind is probably the only one where I've seen people talk about politics. Barely. It don't last long. And you know, if you're having a conversation about politics, it's lasting long.
Yeah.
They're trying to say if you're in love, you're not thinking about nothing else.
Yeah.
If you have a relationship, you don't have to worry about anything else. You have a relationship.
Yeah.
What do people say? You got a job, you have a relationship, you have a house, you have kids, you have it all.
Yeah.
Do they?
Right.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they? If the world around them is crumbling?
But even what if, but it ain't even about the world around them crumbling, but also how does the world around them crumbling permeate itself in their relationship? In that got it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that we look at people so much that, oh, you have this.
Yes.
So now when a person is struggling with that or have all of that and they don't have no support system or they are in a fucked up ass marriage or a fucked up ass relationship, everybody's like, well, you got it all.
Yes.
So you don't need me.
Yes.
You don't need no friends. You don't need no community. You don't need no village.
Yes.
I think you got it from here.
Yes. I mean, we were formerly friends with people who would watch people's political content online and then they would tell us how they don't like it, even though they shared it, even though they liked it.
Yeah.
So it's all about the image of this over here on the internet. Cool. Let me like it. But in my life, I don't have to do that because I have a relationship. That person loves me. We could just go fuck right now. And it's the end. I don't have to think about any of these
I don't even know if it's the fuck piece or the sexual piece. I think
the sexual piece is there too. We live in a compulsorily sexual world. All of these shows, every single last one, is people having sex. Not one time, I think only Bella Dashe on this season 7 said that I don't want to kiss and I don't want to have sex. And guess what happened? She was voted off the damn near next episode. There is a push to have sex. Why? In the Western world, are we pushed to have sex and relationships? They have to be talked about at the same time. What I've been teaching sex ed for teens and tweens, and one piece Ebony said he overheard me talking about friendships and relationships, but there is so much focus on quantity of relationships over quality. It isn't just your relationships that you have, it's also how many people you slept with. People want to know that all the time. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Right. I think it goes back to the desire piece, and that's the sort of crux of the conversation. It's a construct, it's a structure, it's a phenomenon, and, you know, maybe in human beings a naturally occurring phenomenon, or some people like it's not. It's just all kind of made up that you would want or like a thing, or want or like a person, or want to be wanted and adored. And it feels nebulous. It feels like it's there, but you can't see it, but it's everywhere, and it's in everything. And so I think if that is a type of currency, as people like Deshaun and others talk about, and other scholars, if desire is a type of currency, then the question is, it's like the more you get, the more you want, the more valuable you're seen. So yes, obviously people are going to be like, I need more friends. I need more people around me.
Yes.
That means I'm more valuable. That means that they adore me. That means that my worth is now associated with how many people like me. If I don't have nobody that likes me, or nobody has ever said that they like me, then that must mean I'm worthless. That must mean I have no value.
My worth is not wrapped up in how I care about the world or my community.
No.
My worth is wrapped up in how much of the world desires me.
Yes.
How much they want me, which is what in the car on the way over, we were talking about Beyonce. And Beyonce, it doesn't get much. Beyonce gets a lot of critique from like these weird ass politicians and like news anchors and just random ass people. I don't, in my world, see Beyonce getting critique from people who just regular people who listen to Beyonce. It's these folks in relative positions of power.
White people.
But I don't engage white people online, so I don't really see what they're talking about in terms of Beyonce. I see the people that they listen to that would allow them to do that.
The Piers Morgans and these, there is a new renewed interest, but white people have always thought of and taken the most, to them, exceptional example of, again, we have these terms that white people create that we just adopt. And I think that's a part of desire. I just listen to Noam Chomsky. You motherfucker just listen to Karl Marx. It's just no investigation of who they are and how they think, but these terms like conventional beauty standards. A convention is just a norm. Yeah. It's an established norm that took agreement for it to exist. It is not naturally occurring. Yep. It is not biological, Sydney Sweeney, with your dumb ass. It ain't got nothing to do. It's not genetic in nature. It is simply something that had to be created. Yes. And so my thing is they're taking whoever they think either subvert that standard or transcend it, a black person, and they're taking that person and they are doing something eugenics in nature where they're like, this light-skinned, very, very quote-unquote conventionally attractive based on white European beauty standards black person, I am going to try to knock them down to size because that will then buttress whiteness. That will then prove like you Negroes, it's never going to be human. Let alone beautiful. Let alone, you mentioned a Megyn Kelly person. I don't even know who that is.
You don't know Megyn Kelly?
No, I don't even know who that is.
That's good. Megyn Kelly was a news. What are they? News anchors. What else are they called? Journalist. She ain't no journalist. She was a commentator on Fox.
She's a television.
You know why she got kicked off of Fox?
What did she say?
She was defending blackface. How you get kicked off of Fox?
They love blackface. They just didn't like her ass.
How you get kicked off of Fox? But now you're over here talking about Beyonce is artificial, is not real. It's nothing about Beyonce that's real, is what she said. Yes. These are the people that I hear critique from. I don't hear critique from anybody else. And why I say that is because black people have critique for other things. Okay? When we are black, we're just talking about black people for 1 second. When a black trans woman says, T.S. Madison says, I'm a woman, and she's in conversation with Nene Leakes, people have thoughts about that. They don't just say, but I believe T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison's a woman because she says she's a woman. That's not the same. It's not the same kind of care and consideration that Beyonce gets from black folks. And we have to be honest. There is not much that Beyonce could do that would have black people be like, I'm cool off you, Beyonce. Beyonce performing in Israel, not a problem. It doesn't matter. It's okay. She needs to make her money. Who else doesn't perform in Israel? It's like it's constantly this agreement for it, right?
So we're hardwired.
We're hardwired because of how Beyonce looks. You don't hold Beyonce to account. If Doechii performed in Israel, Doechii is on stage and saying Free Palestine. Beyonce just performed, I don't know how many cities, for how many weeks. At what point did she talk about any of that? This big ass stage, this big ass platform, she is not held to account. We talking about holding Laverne Cox to account. She's not held to account for her actions, for her participation, for her upholding these structures. Sure, Taylor Swift, 100% same thing. But we can't let a big ass celebrity off the hook in that way. I'm
gonna toggle with you super hard.
Go ahead, toggle.
I'm gonna toggle with you super hard.
You're a part of the Beehive, so I'm prepared.
It ain't got nothing to do with the Beehive. It ain't got even bigger than Laverne Cox, and it's bigger than Beyonce. Again, I go back to Noam Chomsky, but I'm gonna pivot from Noam Chomsky. I'm gonna go to Karl Marx.
Okay.
Karl Marx, just like you can't critique Beyonce, guess who else you can't critique? Can't critique Karl Marx. If you try to critique Karl Marx, and especially with white people.
How are you toggling with me? I agree with that.
But there is agreement that Beyonce needs to be held to account, that our relationship to her, our knee-jerk defense of her, our reactions to her need to be better investigated.
Yep.
But in 2025, 100-something years later, after Marx is dead, black people is calling themselves Marxist. They've named, we are now associating our political ideologies off of a white man, a white cis man who did not come up with communism, did not come up with the concept of socialism. There were indigenous communities all over the world.
What do you think that says? That people don't critique Karl Marx in the same ways that they don't critique Beyonce?
What does it say?
What do you think that says about Beyonce?
No. What do you think that says about Karl Marx is my question to you.
Karl Marx, we already know, is a white cis man, middle class. Beyonce,
Yes.
Beyonce is a black cisgender woman who is light skinned, who has proximity to that convention, which is why so many white people are threatened by her presence.
True.
And Beyonce, babe,
I just
Beyonce
feel like,
is not,
why
what is
does
the toggle with this?
It's like, I just feel like there is too much focus on Beyonce. Beyonce, for the same reason, Piers Morgan, Megyn Kelly, all these random ass white people, Carrie Underwood, Kid Rock, white people coming out the woodworks to criticize Beyonce, is all wrapped up in desirability. We feel like we can hold her to account.
You cannot not talk about Beyonce just because she's this big time celebrity, babe. No. She represents something. When you talk about hardwired, she is a part of that machine.
Babe, the machine is loaded with examples. The machine is loaded with the...
What want to use Beyonce?
Because it's like, again, because of desirability, even in our very principled critiques, very leftist, radical critiques of Beyonce, lots of people are using capitalism and surplus value, and they're using Marxist language. Language that, according to Cedric Robinson, that is language that was observed from mass movements of white people.
Okay.
So why are we then using the language and lexicon of a white person who we hold harmless to essentially criticize a black capitalist without criticizing the system of racial capitalism as a whole? We are not hardwired to do.
Lon says that you don't need to be white in order to uphold white supremacy. There is a conditioning that is happening. That's what I'm speaking to. You have black people, regular black people, that will not say anything bad about Beyonce. You are conditioned to do that. That is intentional. And guess what? People do that in their lives with the light-skinned, conventionally attractive people who are in their life. But meanwhile, a dark-skinned, fat black, the Times Square statue couldn't even be a statue for very long. So much critique that it got. A statue. It said, I don't understand why this represents black people.
So what you're saying...
That is a function of desirability. A statue don't even talk. People were pissed
that it was a statue of a
black woman.
Yes.
They were pissed that
didn't look like Beyonce.
Correct. They said that. They said, why couldn't it look a little bit more like Beyonce? We have to talk about that. It's a matter of desirability. It is. And desirability is playing on our proclivities, whether to critique something or not. Didn't I say that in the last episode? People say to me all the time, yeah, people who are ugly like you are always talking like this. And yeah, it's because you're fat and ugly. And that's why you talk. If I look like Beyonce, then y'all would listen to me.
But
do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get. And then on the side note about that, it's like this idea of ugliness that is also up in there.
But before you get to that point, yes. I just want to. Do you get what I'm saying? Is that you think we have to find the quote, but apparently they were doxxed for saying this. Is that someone said that people who are attractive, beautiful people, are morally corrupt.
Or bankrupt.
Morally bankrupt. Thank you. People who are beautiful or considered beautiful or seen as beautiful are morally bankrupt. They were doxxed for saying it.
Well.
Now, what do you think that means about the society that we live in that upholds desire above all else?
Well, when you are seen as, again, if beauty is associated in the U.S. or in the Western world with whiteness, and beauty is associated with value, desire, if desire is associated with value, and not just value in some abstract sense, but literally, like, are you worthy of having housing? Are you worthy of having a thriving wage? Are you worthy of having access to clean water, etc.?
Talk about Taylor Swift and Sydney Sweeney.
But y'all don't.
Babe, that's not true. That's not true. I don't like that argument. That's not true.
People do.
100%
you do. But
yes.
but most people don't.
But we don't talk about Beyonce, babe. I'm sorry. We don't.
We do.
And anything that is proximate to that sort of look, it's true. Beyonce shouldn't be critiqued because she's black?
No, it's not that she shouldn't be critiqued. Is that if we have a penchant, we're hardwired, we're all conditioned, including black people of every race, to punish black people, to meet black people carcerally, to hold black people to account over all others. Nobody else gets held to account. We literally have a country run by a pedophile that's doing whatever he wants. Beyonce is the person who we feel most able and capable of holding to account and critiquing because of how she looks.
No, you're not listening to me.
Black.
No, you're not listening.
It is true.
That is not true, babe. That's literally, I'm saying the opposite. She doesn't get that level of critique, babe. If Doechii performed in Israel, Lizzo, you don't even hear from Lizzo anymore. Lizzo has to rebuild her whole career. She is constantly critiqued. Because of how she looks. Lizzo is, I would argue, just as talented, maybe not in dancing, as Beyonce. She has a beautiful voice. She plays the flute.
She cannot sing nowhere near Beyonce level.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
Come on, Erica, let's go. Come on now. I want to make my point.
But no. But you're not listening to me, though. Lizzo is damn near blacklisted. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, is she blacklisted because she's not talented?
She's blacklisted because of the allegations in the court case that she had.
Okay.
But how many people got court cases and allegations? Okay. Chris Brown and all the rest of these niggas.
Can we talk about Chris Brown? Is that easier? You want to talk about Chris Brown? Because you are in the beehive, babe.
I'm not.
You are.
No.
Let's talk about Chris Brown then.
I've been trying to talk about Karl Marx. He has his own desirability politic, allowed him to miss an entire stratum of people who predated him that were wage laborers, that were a universal proletariat class.
And what am I saying?
You are trying to say that Beyonce needs to be critiqued because of the same structures that would have Karl Marx be as popular as he is today. I keep telling you, we're not saying we're Hooksian. Which one of y'all niggas calling yourselves Bell Hooksian? If I walk around and I say Bell Hooksian, they gonna be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Telling you how desirability works. And I'm saying that people are using the same things. They're using the same frameworks, babe. They're literally not critiquing Karl Marx because he's white, and black people are not trying to critique a light-skinned, conventionally attractive, cisgender, able-bodied person, heterosexual, because they want to have some sort of proximity to something that they consider beautiful so that they can justify their life. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Justify their life in what way?
Justify their life, justify why they should be alive, black people, why they deserve something. Why that person deserves crumbs. I support her. I love her. Why do people have fandom? Why do we say we are anti-celebrity? Because it's all a distraction. It's literally all a distraction. You're trying to have proximity to these people so you can feel good about yourself.
Escape into their level of celebrity and wealth. The escapism that they have as wealthy, billionaire, affluent class people is nowhere near the average person.
The fact that people are unable to, babe. Unable. That's what I'm talking about. People are unable to critique Beyonce. And I'm not talking about critique Beyonce like these white people are doing. I'm not saying that. Hi. You coming in.
Critique him. I don't know how we started talking about Beyonce, but I don't want to talk about Beyonce no more.
What's going on?
I'm done with
We've been talking about damn Beyonce.
We have guests who have arrived in the space.
Yes.
We have Isaiah, who is an amazing Brooklynite.
Geographer.
Brooklynite, big Brooklyn.
Geographer.
Big Brooklyn,
East
always.
New York, Flatbush, and all
Just
of
a
that.
all of that.
brilliant mind, but I'm going to have him introduce himself. And then we
Oh.
also have our daughter,
Yes.
Deme here.
Wow.
Who really, y'all need to know that there is no I Heart Erica without a team.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And Deme really got us all the way together in probably the busiest season of our career.
She did.
It was absolutely wild, and Deme was instrumental. So we love you and appreciate you. This is our next president right here. Deme.
Yes.
Yes.
She
So
is
if
a
she doesn't
community
say that-
advocate.
Deme Brown.
She is a
Okay.
Brooklyn community advocate. She will say
Yes.
more about what district she works in.
Yes.
Ooh,
And
Lord.
she's also a photographer, a filmmaker.
And she's also here
and a
for Kamala.
screenwriter.
Oh, we love Kamala.
We love
We love our light skinned
So we
sister.
got all the light skin representation. That
Yes,
y'all said
United
we
States
were
of light
missing.
skins. We gonna run it.
We're gonna redeem the light skins. There y'all
you
go.
wanna go first?
Okay,
Oh.
Isaiah.
Yes.
Well, yes, my name is Isaiah. Y'all know that. I'm Debbie's best friend. Let's start there. That's how I got here, right? I am from Brooklyn, New York, always. You know, I'm from Brooklyn. Feel me? I live in the Bay Area right now. I'm currently entering my second year of my PhD at UC Berkeley in the geography department.
Yes.
Okay, go Bears. So I'm currently over there. My research is thinking a bit about natural disasters and questions around Black, is my living in vain? Is my dying in vain? And the meaning of that, especially that the event of the climate catastrophe brings for Black life, is really what my project is thinking about. Usually, I would say how every time you ask a person who's doing a PhD, like, what is your project? It changes every single time. Literally every time you ask the question. So right now, I say that I'm really invested in what the event of flooding, hurricanes, particularly those issues, do for the question of Black being, Black living, and Black dying.
Yes.
And so that's kind of the big question that I'm working on in school. But then outside of that, I just love Black people. I love Black food. Y'all get heavy into Black food.
Isaiah
The
be cooking.
burns.
I be
Isaiah be
cooking.
cooking.
Okay? Cooks down.
You can't cook.
Isaiah know how to cook.
You just ate my omelet on the way here.
And
Like,
I'm funny actor, so I'm from Oakland. We don't eat everybody's food. When I had Isaiah food, I'm like, okay, this
Thank
is
you.
fine.
Sanction on both coasts.
Yeah.
And like Black people, like I'm so excited about this conversation. I have to do my homework. I got my little iPad here to
Get
pull
us
up my
together,
notes.
'cause we didn't go all off the agenda.
Because this is about to be crazy. So it's
Yes.
really everything Black here.
Yes.
So that's me.
Yes. Thank you for
Yes.
that. That
Thank
was
you for
great.
being here.
Thank you. Right.
My name is Deme Brown. I am from Chicago originally. I've been in New York for about 6 years. I'm a political pundit, a baddie,
Yes,
a baddie
period.
at the polls.
Yeah.
Which poll?
The pose.
Look,
Which
he almost took me back. He
Yeah.
almost took me back. Look, I will never go back on the poll. No, I work for the city council. I'm a director of constituent services. I do a lot of community organizing, and then on the back end, I am a budding filmmaker, photographer,
Yes.
writer.
It's not no back end.
Yes, it's
It
not no
is-
back
front
It's not a
end.
back end.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I need to put it on the front end.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I love working with Black and brown communities to make the government more accessible and to make them give us this money. I'm really
Yes.
excited to be here with you all.
Yes.
Love y'all down.
I love you more.
Yes, yes.
So we wanted to have the two of you on here because of your friendship, right? And this conversation is about love and Black love. It's Black August, and we've been in this sort of, I would say Black, queer, and trans people have been in this conversation about love and desire ever since Laverne Cox, said that she was dating a MAGA NYPD white, a blonde hair, blue eyed person. So it now has evolved into a conversation about desire and relationships. And I think as two people who have gone through so many shifts in relationships, familial relationships, and also romantic and friendships, right? I would love to hear from y'all about y'all's friendship and how y'all come together and what does even conflict look like, if that's a thing, or how do you maintain friendship considering that you've moved? I know that was like not a point of contention, but very challenging. I would love to hear a little bit about that. What is love to y'all? And what does that look like in your relationships? You could talk about in y'all relationship or otherwise.
I guess I could start with talking about how we met. We both were in the new school for a minute, and we met at the BSU, the Black Student Union. And he walked up to us, me and like another one of my friends, and he's just like, "Who are y'all? What are y'all doing?" And I was immediately like, "Don't talk to me." Like, I'm so like standoffish. Like I don't.
You're from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago, so like don't just walk up to me. And talk to me. Also, the balls of you to just walk up and start talking to me. I'm like, okay, right. I'm like, and he's kind of cute, so I'm like, well, what's going on? You know? You were super young at that point. I don't even think you were 21 yet.
No.
And his birthday was
I wasn't 20 yet.
Yeah, he was a baby, and so his birthday was a couple days after we met. And I was like, well, what are you doing for your birthday? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, well, I'm sneaking you into a club. We're gonna get drunk, and we're gonna have a time. And the rest is kind of like history. And now we've been friends for a very long time at this point. And we've definitely had conflict.
What?
Conflict?
Oh! Big Libra, first of all. I'm a big Libra. So
and I'm
conflict,
a big Leo.
Right.
He's
so
conflict avoided.
Me, conflict avoided down.
Yes.
You know?
Libras. Oh my God.
I'm very surprised by that, Isaiah.
It's just like I have a Libra sun, a Libra moon, and a Leo rising. Right? So conflict, I'll be like, but then the Leo will be like, you know, so it's just like,
that fire.
Yes. I feel like our friendship, for me, especially because I've been through a lot of trauma and stuff like that. So I really look at my friendships as like a space for healing, you know, and our friendship in particular does feel like a little bit medicinal, and he really has brought me through a lot of transitions. And one of the biggest ones, you know, to get a little bit personal, was you moving away, because I came to New York alone. I had just left a 5-year relationship, left all my friends back home that chose him over me.
we were talking about that
and and you know, so I came here really raw. Ready for community. I met y'all, thank God, you know, and I was able to establish a chosen family. But when Isaiah was about to leave, it really brought up a trauma wound for me, like my abandonment wound. And like, I did not know how to take it. I did not know how to think about it. And even still, I say like little jabby things, you know, and it actually led to a pretty big argument that we had this summer when he came back.
Oh, okay.
And I basically was just like, I don't know. I can say everything, right? Okay, I was basically just like, I don't trust you anymore. I feel like I'm not a priority for you anymore. And I was crying, and he was just really hurt, and it was a lot. I had to take a moment to myself to be like, this isn't even your fault. This is my abandonment wound coming up, and you just triggered that for me. But I have to use our relationship to kind of rewire my nervous system and be like, okay, he said he wanted to get eggs from the store. This nigga gonna come back eventually. So I had to just get into the motion of being like, this is your friend. He's going away for a little bit, but he'll be back. That's still your ace boom cool. And so that's kind of like how I look at my friendships as a form of medicine, and help me rewire my nervous system, all the trauma I've experienced.
Wow.
And a point of
That's
security.
beautiful.
Instead of like, I think a lot of people, I mean, we in relationships, you know, friendships, relationships, I belong to you. You know what I'm saying? We
the possessiveness.
we possessive. You know what I'm saying? Like, them fuck them other niggas. These is my fuck them other niggas. I'm down for my. These are my friends. You know that sort of rhetoric that we have around other people. Like, that's something that I feel like you navigated. Where it's like, okay, this my nigga. I already know that. And I love the fullness of allowing Isaiah to just, you're mine and you're yours. You're yours.
You are yours.
You are yours.
You are you first.
And you have things that you want to do, and I'm completely on board with that. That is not a threat or interrupts our relationship. But a lot of people don't keep it real. A lot of people feel like how you felt. They just won't say that.
They won't say it. And they'll just do the jabs. And then they'll quiet quit.
They'll quiet quit. And I was throwing jabs. I was throwing jabs for a really long time. I actually we didn't talk. I want to say the first month you moved. I really was not talking to him because I was really upset.
You were really upset.
Yeah, I was really upset.
Yeah, I think that speaks to what it's like to be in relationship with Black people, and why so often people will be like, well, Black people don't like me, and I just much rather be with white people.
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? Like, I just, you know, like, it's my friend group or my relationships have been multicultural, right? So I think in being in conflict, you said that you're a Libra, and that's challenging. What then comes up for you? Or what's your standard for being in relationship? How do you maintain your friendships? Because you have, y'all friend group is like very tender, like very, very cute. Y'all seem down for each other. It seems like people are maybe new, but it feels like family. Like, so how do you navigate these things? Like, what's your politic and your conflict avoidance and where that comes from?
So it's really funny. And it's so interesting hearing Deme talk about the story of how we met and how we've grown from there. And it's crazy because you have those, I mean, I at least have those friends where I know exactly the day I met you, right? And I know exactly the story and da-da-da. And then you have some friends who's like, we in this. I don't actually remember, like, you know, my best friend, Nikayla, I'm like, I really don't remember the first day. I don't know how, but we are locked in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the godfather of them kids. Like, you know. So it's real. So I can, for example, for Nikayla, I cannot say the day I met her. But the day I met Deme was that day. Like, you know. And it's really interesting. I went to Williams College for undergrad, which was deep experience intellectually, working with really powerful scholars. But it was a difficult experience personally as a Black kid from Brooklyn, being in the middle of nowhere in Massachusetts, and it was really, really, really hard.
It's racist as fuck.
Racist as hell, you know, and it was really crazy being up there because there was actually a really strong Black community there, right? And we were always fighting with one another, and but you know, people are surprised about how deeply some of the relationships that I created, because we needed each other, right, to survive. And so I say that to say I spent my whole life growing up in New York, and I went to an all-white, basically preparatory Catholic school, not too far from here where we are in Chelsea, Xavier High School. And it was really hard navigating being Black in that space, and then of course discovering that I'm queer. And I remember when I first came out to my father, you know, because I was doing a lot of social justice and anti-racism work in high school, he was like, you just coming out because it, you know, it's more added to your liberal bleeding heart politics, right? So you talk about Laverne's. And I felt the same way. I was like, you're not wrong. You know? And that was actually really.
And I'm also gay. I like that.
You know, that was literally the conversation because in that moment when he called me out and gagged me, right? And I was just like, well, yes, you know, like, this is actually a part of my politics. Because people are actually talking about this now because of the moment that we're in, where queerness being a political identity as well as it being this kind of identity marker of I'm gay. And, you know, for like these white gay people, it's just like, that is just their thing. It's a flag. It's a color. But no, when he said that, and I was like, no, I was like, wait. Right. And so as a teenager having that conversation with me, it actually became very clear for me that it was a political thing. And that's neither here nor there, but it's actually here and there. But I say that all to say that I'm in this space as a college kid, as a high school kid, trying to navigate this and really navigating this on my own. And in that way of this like high-performing high school kid going to this high-performing college, and you're being told to perform and achieve in these ways. And I end up at Williams, and this is the first time I feel like, and in that moment, right, I had Black friends, you know, and I had all types of friends, especially being in a place like Xavier. And I go to Williams, and I was never uncomfortable making a friend. That's never been, you know, my mom is the queen of, she got a million friends. You know, I grew up in that. My dad has a million friends. So I'm grown in that. And so I'm at Williams. I have Black friends. I have white friends. I have friends. But I didn't feel like, you know, like when I thought about like HBCUs or Black high schools, I didn't feel like that was somewhere, for example, I could be safe being queer. Because when I was in those spaces, I just was like experiencing the kind of harm that could be. Of course, experiencing that same harm or a different type of harm in the white spaces, you know, and going to Xavier, going to Williams and experiencing that. But nevertheless, kind of coming out the closet my freshman year of college and developing queer friends and also developing Black queer friends, right, for the first time. But it was like, okay, I'm going to study abroad, right? And at Williams, you could study abroad in the country and you could study abroad in the world, right? Internationally. And so for the fall, I studied away at the new school, right? Initially, I was going to go to Howard to finally have my HBCU experience. But I missed the deadline because I'm notoriously late. Missed the deadline. I was like, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go back to the city. And it was jarring. It was really jarring because I decided to go to the new school, and the new school is down the block from Xavier.
Yeah.
It's the same geography.
Okay.
And so I'm now doing the exact same commute as I was doing in high school, and psychologically it was terrifying.
Oh, wow.
I had gone through a whole mental health crisis right before entering too. I was being terrorized by white supremacists and white nationalists on campus. I had this mental break. I'm in the hospital. I'm back in the city for the summer, and I'm gonna enroll into the new school in the fall, and I'm just fucked up. And now I'm alone.
Yeah.
And navigating the city, going to Xavier, going to the school. I live in East New York, Brooklyn. I'm always commuting. I don't have neighbors and community that's at home because I've been constantly commuting since I was a baby to go to these schools. That's how you live and navigate in the city, to try to find good schools for you and da-da-da. And it's like, anyways. And I get to the new school and I'm just depressed.
Yeah.
I'm so depressed. And of course, all of my friends from high school are in college away.
Yeah.
So I'm alone. And I'm depressed. I'm alone. I'm back in the city. I can't wake up in the morning. Like, it was so challenging. I'm just like getting emotionally remembering that time. Like pep talks with my mom. Like, get up, get up, get up. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm just like trying to figure out how to live in this place again. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the BSU. And I'm like trying to search for community. I'm in these classes. And, this is the thing about the new school. All these white people. I'm like, I'm in a New York school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even at Xavier, there were more people of color in my classrooms.
Yes.
So I'm even at Williams in Massachusetts, I have more people of color in my
That says
classrooms.
something about New York.
Jesus, and the new school and our universities.
Yeah.
And I just was like, and here I am, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure it out. And so I go to this BSU meeting, and I'm sitting by myself because I don't have any friends. And they're like, turn and talk to your partners about what events we should do in the BSU. So I turn behind these two people behind me, and I'm like, what we're going to do is we need to have this event. Our fashion show will be super cool. Our environmentalism,
That is Isaac.
food. And
And me and my friend were just like, who the fuck is he
Right.
talking to? Like, who is he?
they're like,
Why is he really doing this?
Right. Also, we were sitting in the back.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
For a reason.
Yes.
So then I'm just like, and they're like, okay. And so we start talking, and it wasn't my birthday. It was Daryl's birthday. And they're like, what are you doing this weekend? And I was like, nothing. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
It's like, it's Daryl's birthday. Like, you should come to pianos, right?
Yeah,
and we have a
course.
picture of that day, on the stoop.
Wow.
This is like, I still dressed like a teacher, but I was really, my style back then was crazy. I was like wearing all my mom's old vintage and my father's old vintage clothes. I'm trying to like style it up.
Yes.
And we go to pianos, and we had this mechanism. We're 25 now. Indoctrinate. Criminalize the piano. What we would do. So what we would do is we would go to a club, right? And Deme had her passport and her ID.
And a driver's license.
Right? The passport and the driver's license. And Deme and Daryl would go online, right? And they'd open up. Okay, you're in. And then Daryl would be a little bit behind. They don't care. They go in. Mind you, the two-person just, and we're black, right?
Yes.
And there's black bouncers, and they're just like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
And so they both go in. Then, hopefully there is re-entry.
Yes.
They get their stamp, and then one or two of them would come out with one of the two devices, right? So maybe it was like an ID or the passport. Usually it's the passport. So now I'm coming back, and I have my little. This time we kind of looked alike because your passport photo had the afro, and I had my little afro photo, and they would be like. I'm so scared. I'm literally 19 years old. We're going to the clubs, and this is pre-pandemic too, right?
My God. Pianos is for 19-year-olds.
It's exit literally, and we get into the club, and I'm practicing Deme's birthday. I don't even know their birthday. August. And then I'm doing all of this. They don't care. We walk in, and then we have a time, right?
Yes.
And we would do that. Pianos, the kind regards, the DL.
On the circuit.
We were not Chelsea, Midtown, because you lived in Hell's Kitchen, and we would have the time. And it was important. I mean, the story is so funny because, we got Miss Amir now. She's added new Butch Queens into her.
Cheekbones. I love cheekbones. I don't even know their name. Her name is Cheekbones.
It's funny because Amir's like, let's go to kind regards. I'm like,
nobody wants
we're
to.
not going.
Too young.
We're not going.
So I feel like from your story, one thing that I'm present to is something that I'm going to tell on us just a little bit is that Ebony and I are similar in that we love a high quantity of people around us.
Yes.
Like, we come from families too. I love that you said your parents had always had a lot of friends. My mom always had a lot of friends. Yeah. My dad, not so much, but I idolized my mother. Yeah. So when I grew up, I was like, why don't I have any friends? And I would have like 5 friends. Yes. And my mom was like, you have friends. I'm like, but it's not 25. So I don't understand. Yes. Birthday parties, getting like anxious that nobody's going to come. And what does that mean? You know, and when we had these relatively recent friendship breakups around us being pregnant, it was really challenging for us to be with that because it felt like nobody wanted to be our friend. Even though we had motherfuckers in our life, we still were like, well, now that these people is gone, who's our... I don't want to deal with this anymore. Right. So when you were talking about feeling like alone and you didn't have anybody, I guess like how do we, in a capitalistic world where everything is about more and more and more, how do folks navigate that? Because even when I talk about interracial dating, people will be like, well, black people don't like me, so that's why I'm dating a white person. What do you want? You want me to just be single? That's what they say. You just want me to be single? Like, that's the worst thing in the world. So I guess, I don't know if there's a question in this or just like a conversation, but it is a feeling of discomfort. Like my therapist, Jerry, is always like, how does it feel in your body? My stomach would ache. My chest would get tight. I went to a party by myself not too long ago, and I was like, oh, this feels great. But literally 2 years ago, even, I don't know that it would have felt that way. You know what I mean? I think I would have felt very uncomfortable and likely wanted to leave. You know, because I don't have all of these people around me. You know, so I guess what are your... I know there's a lot of other things going on. I'm not trying to say the lack of friends was the reason why you were sad. I know that you had stuff.
Deme's been really great as a friend because I am notoriously a million friends. I like, it's like an addiction, right? I'm just like,
you're a people collector.
I'm like the queen of a parasocial relationship too. Like, let me call, you know. And for me, I enjoy like, you know, meeting new people really and truly. And I just have a very kind way of like, I'm not really interested in kind of topical, hey, how are you? Okay, goodbye. You know, I'll ask you like, so how's your mother? You know, like, who, you know, like, and get really deep really quickly. And so it, you know, for somebody, I met somebody 2 weeks ago. We was at a party. We hung out maybe 1 or 2 more times, and they invited me to their going away party. And I was like, I was really going to get the gift for the party and the card. I'm like, what am I writing? Why am I here? You know, but it was, but then both of us, when I said goodbye, I was like, I get it, you know, and I really appreciate even the small time that you've allowed me into your life. And so so in one sense, to answer your question about capitalism and how we're meant oftentimes to interact with one another is to have these really fecund relationships where we're just supposed to kind of pass each other by, but really we are human beings, right? And so really being able to engage with someone materially. And that's why I talked to one of my friends. I was like, it was important that I gave you a gift. Right? Like, it was important that I, you know, shared that and that I asked you real questions because the small talk is dead. But at the other side, you know, and Demi and I have been talking about this lately because I have another friend and she's just been like, I feel like you don't fuck with me. I feel like you don't appreciate me. I feel like you only call me when you need me. And I was like, and I'm like, girl, I think about you every single day. You know what I'm saying? There's 24 hours in the day, and if you capture 5 minutes out of all these people, like, I'm really thinking I really consider you. And so it was so surprising when she said that. And I brought that to Demi because I was really confused. Like, really, you think that this person? And Demi was like, well, right? You know, you're so sometimes hell bent on making new friends, fostering new relationships. How are you nurturing the ones you have?
Which is I'm guilty of neglecting.
And I was just like, you ate me up there. And so there's that other flip side too, where even I often think about this with my own family. You know, I've been in New York for almost 2 months. I came in May. I can say that now because I have my California residency. You know, they were like, you're supposed to be in the state for this month. So I got it now. But I've been here since May, off and on pretty much. And now it's going on the second week of August, and I haven't seen my grandmother, right, the entire time I've been here. An intentional time with my mom and my sister and my little siblings. And I was like this morning feeling really bad, you know, because I have a new friend who's visiting me, and I'm spending time with him, right? And I was like, here I am, right? I literally woke up this morning and it was like having chills, like, because I'm also a huge overthinker, and again, conflict avoidant, making everybody, pleasing everybody. And I'm like, wait, how am I pleasing myself? How am I pleasing others? And so I'm spiraling. But that still is a very real question. Again, even in that question around excess, is then how do you navigate those that you have.
Yeah.
You know, and then don't bring in the extra variable of social media.
Yes.
Because then you see people all the time. You see this avatar of this person. You interact with that, and then we have a whole politic about how we show up there. How did you like this? Did you comment this? Did you see me there? You know, in the algorithm. I swear, I have a friend who'd be so mad I don't like this. I'm like, I swear, I don't see nothing
online,
that you post. I never see it.
People getting upset that their friends in
Are
real
not
life don't
interacting.
like or comment on. They may like it, but they don't interact with it.
Yeah.
They don't really engage.
There's a whole ethic there.
What do you think about it?
I don't really have too many thoughts about that. But my question to y'all is like,
You know he can't stand social media.
consider, I can't. And the reason why,
It's like, anyways.
it's kind of what Isaiah and I talked about yesterday
Yeah.
about the whole Olay and friends thing. We won't
Yeah.
spend too much time on that.
Okay.
But I don't know if you saw
can
that.
spend a
Deme,
little
you
time
saw
on
that
it.
the whole thing.
We watched it. We did. That was my homework
I'm
this week.
interested
Okay, well,
in
let's
your
get into it.
thoughts.
Let's get into
Isaiah,
it.
we talked briefly on the phone, and you know Isaiah, he quick with the FaceTime, so we FaceTime. Well, he FaceTimed, and then I called him back, and you know he was like, the medium is the message. That's what you said, and I feel like I want you to explain that more, and then just pivot to Erica and Deme about our conversation about how the online theater of accountability or performance of accountability, like I just feel like there's something happening to where I don't know if we all, to some sense, understand Afro-Pessimism. We understand anti-blackness as the organizing structure of the world, and that black people are the least desirable people.
Yes.
I guess my thing is, if desirability is a matter of death, like how much a motherfucker want to be your friend, how worthy you are, whether or not you be alone, have support, have financial support, have emotional, social support. If all of that is a matter of life and death for us, and how desirable you are is a type of currency that determines whether you live or die, how you live and how you die, then what as black people, I guess, are we going to do? And what are we doing now in our romantic relationships, our friendships that are not lending themselves to a greater political power? Like, what is happening? What are y'all thoughts on, I guess, that situation with Laverne Cox and how it was carried out? So, Deme, I'll ask you what your initial thoughts were.
Yeah.
It's not even just a
This is a big
conversation, but
question.
it's a bigger than her, but also like, what was your initial thoughts about all of it, even beyond her?
And if you've ever dated a white person before. Question for the two.
Wake it
Yes.
up.
Well, for those who don't know, I practice hoodoo, which is really big on ancestor veneration. And so just jumping real quick back to the question about being loneliness, you know, and stuff like that. I came to practice hoodoo once my grandmother passed away, and I felt like very, very alone. My boyfriend at the time had cheated on me with my best friend. And so I just needed some type of spiritual grounding, and so I turned to hoodoo. And one of the big things about hoodoo is, you know, we never walk the world alone. Our ancestors are always like in front of us, back of us, on the side of us. And so being alone never really frightens me that much anymore. But that's something, that solitude is something I had to become comfortable with. So also to say, my politic and my love and the way I love is very interconnected. So I would never date a white person. I've never dated a white person. I've never been with a white person. I don't anticipate that I will be.
Neither do I.
But
you have kissed one, babe.
Oh,
Babe,
be honest.
whatever.
Oh,
I
Bay Area. Gay area.
We didn't kiss and say we get married. We didn't kiss and get married.
All
We didn't
all
kiss.
right.
Here we go. Here we
We got a
go.
whole episode about me. We got a whole episode about
So
me.
yeah.
So I wasn't really like taken by surprise when Laverne said that she dates who she dates.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also know that being a trans woman, the dating pool is very small. And I think the conversation that was had on the Olay and Friends was really about, well, you think someone like Laverne, being as rich as she is, as gorgeous as she is, and well accomplished as she is, would have a bigger dating pool, but she don't. You know? And I think that's just the reality of it. But also, I can't remember who was on there talking about how maybe she just don't like black men either. I think it was Hope who brought up the thing of being like, actually, the question is, do you like black men? You know, because we've never seen you publicly with a black man.
I don't ever see. I ever remember seeing, you know, Laverne Cox with any man.
No, I remember. I remember.
I ain't seen. I'm not checking it.
Yeah, I followed her because she was on Time Magazine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all the things.
Right.
So like, I've seen her men and stuff like that, and I've always clocked not even just for her, but for Billy Porter and RuPaul and all of our greats in the queer community that have become super rich. They all date white people. And I often ask myself, like, well, damn, do I need to go F a senator to a white senator to get to that level, you know? But
even Coleman Domingo.
Right.
Berkeley. In Berkeley. At the Berkeley Rite Aid.
And it's just like,
and I've been to that Rite Aid. It is janky. I don't know how they met there. It is terrible.
Even Cedric Robinson, the huge
Nikki Giovanni
activist that I looked
Everybody
up to, is a white.
I don't know shade to the Bay.
Yes.
No, it's shade to the Bay.
It's shade to the Bay.
Yes.
Shade to the Bay.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere.
Yes.
Because Laverne Cox ain't from the South, but she lives in New York.
Yes. And I think, I forgot what the term was that they were using on there, but she is the model for like the possibility model. She is for a lot of trans women. So for her and so many of our other queer, like, successful people to date white people, it kind of sends the signal like, okay, if you want to get here and you want a seat at the table, you're gonna have to get you a white person, you know? And I've struggled in my own dating life just because I love black men. You want to be with a black man. I've struggled to find a viable partner for myself, someone that's willing to tote the line, because my man has to be somebody who's okay being on the front lines of mostly every fight, politically. You can't be someone who's passive, because when we're walking down the street and someone calls me a tranny, you got to step up in the way that my friends step up.
Period.
And you can't be my man if you can't step up in the ways that they step up and go further. Then you don't love me. You know what I mean?
Which was the big thing, right?
That was
I think that was I think the most generative part of the conversation. And I think it was Kat Black, who at the end was just like, girl, that's not love, right? And it was kind of jarring the way, and this is why Deshaun's work is so powerful. But Kat was like, if you're gonna be with me, if you're gonna, you spend, I just want to come home to this person, I don't want to care about the world, and I'm like, I get that, but what are y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying?
And
how's that?
That's what I said.
You know, and not bring the world with
the
them.
notion, though.
I will say though, I think there has been a shift in like platonic and like relationships. Like back in the day, or at least when I was growing up, I don't remember love being about something political. Like, I remember it being like, oh, you like me, I like you, da-da-da-da-da, we're going to do what we do. Now I feel like love has really, I mean, not to say that it wasn't political.
It's just more of a discourse around it.
It's more of a discourse around it.
It was giving Disney.
Yes, it was giving Disney.
Yes.
But now
it still is.
Now it's giving, oh, we're on the front lines together. We have to be political together. I want to know who you vote for. I want to know all those kind of things. I don't know if that's always been a thing, but
I just think the nature of the politics, though, right, was such that Laverne Cox is not just a regular Disney Channel star. Laverne Cox is literally just just weeks ago. It was just, as they were saying, talking about and critiquing, the Kamala run. This is someone who's actively talking about it. So for everybody, when we heard it, was like, girl, what are you talking about? And then the timelines, it's like, Deshaun kept saying, this is not 2022. Girl, even in 2022, it would probably even been crazier, the way that people are mobilizing around Trump. I think the conversation was long. It was complex. Not only have I watched that one, I've watched other people's lives about it, from T.S. Madison's live to Hope's live to Deshaun's live. The really just gather, and I called you about was about the medium being the message, right? And so there have been multiple kind of social media accountability panels in the past, and I've always found them very, very strange. And the politics of discipline, right? When we talk about cancel culture, it's something that we kind of always hover around. But we actually never name that. And sometimes we do. We talk about like carceral politics or the carcerality of it. But it's a kind of disciplinary politic. So even, for example, to be very frank, about, Hope. You're too old. And it's something about it felt really, really black. Right? Because she was using this vernacular, and she was like, you too goddamn old for this. And I felt like,
and she's not talking about age.
She's not talking about old.
But it felt like
it felt like you ain't got no damn sense, right? But it felt like a parent. Right? And there was a way in which the kind of politics of of black discipline and how we discipline one another, right, was entering into that way. And then there's a kind of this performance, and so there's an audience. And so the way that you now embody that discipline and then enact it on another person in that public arena. The question then becomes, what are the politics of the performance of when we get into a zone, like a kind of media zone that we're in, and we now decide that we're going to hold each other accountable and use this language, and do this in this particular way. We cannot take for granted the medium. And when I say the medium, medium is the message, I was like, this was weird because first and foremost, first of all, everybody wasn't on the same page about what this conversation was going to be. You literally had people being there on the call actively saying, I don't even know if I should have been here. Right? You have people off the call saying, I should have been there. Right? Like T.S. Madison's like, I should have been in that call and I would have said this. 100%. And she should have been in the call. Because she kept getting named the entire time. And then you have Deshaun who's like, I'm the first person to even be admitted onto the call because the way that this show usually goes, that we're having a kind of discursive discussion around certain ideas. You have people who literally don't do that at all. So even the match for that was just, is everybody trans? So we're bringing trans people on the call. So even the curatorial aspect of like, girl, what was this? And I think everybody kind of was like, literally everybody keeps saying, why were we here? So having intentionality about the medium and then how it's supposed to carry over a particular politic was, I think, the intentional thing. And I think to your other question and your other point about the politics of love, right? You know, Deshaun did some work with Joy James.
Yes.
And I gotta bring her up and bring up her work.
Yes.
Particularly because she also works around love. Right?
Yes.
And we are moving around a lot of interesting things when we are having, not only talking about that conversation, but also the topic of that conversation. You have the question of romantic love, the question of desirability, and then you have the question of what does it mean to hold us accountable, which in and of itself is another type of love. And so Joy's been writing often about the captive maternal and writing about revolutionary love. And then you have Sean, and they have actually done work together when thinking about the politics of desirability, fat phobia, and anti-blackness. I think the challenging question, and what I think was beginning with their intellectual discourse, and what's alchemizing there, and what we need to get to, is where Deshaun, I think, was trying to bring us to, which was, we need to talk about what are the stakes of our loving, right? The stakes of our desire, right? Because we would say things like the personal is political, and even that's become a kind of refrain that we repeat. But I think to take that even further is to say, right, that desirability, like you can die from a broken heart. You can die from being lonely. So the friendships are not taken for granted. The question of whiteness and to be desired by whiteness, to be seen, to be desired is its own political question. And we can't both abdicate what it means to be loved, to feel loved, whether that is romantically and physically. And then also to kind of love one another as Black people when we are not beings. We in some cases with the question of AP, we are not human. We are not given the agency to have being, right? To be a Black trans femme woman. Deshaun kept repeating, well, I'm ungendered, right? And Patrice Douglas and those folks who are talking in those ways. There's so many conversations happening all at once. But I brought up Joy and Deshaun and where they're going because thinking about AP and thinking about the captive maternal sometimes feels like they're informed by one another and they're talking to one another, but there is a tension. And I think the tension exists because Professor James talks about agape, right? A type of deep revolutionary love because she believes that it's important and it's fundamental to Black rebellion, right? She's like, Black August, George Jackson. She says, if I analyze these dragon philosophers, these Black rebels, at the foundation of the relationship between George and Angela, Jonathan and George, right? Their mother, was it Georgia Jackson, right? And George Jackson. There is a relationship, and under that and underneath that, it's not only a love for one another, but a love for Black people, right? And it informs their love for one another and informs their love for Black people. And she's trying to figure out what does that mean for the future and the existence of Black rebellion, because in the face of a fascist world, we got to have that. And then the AP girls is just like, okay, we need to understand what's functioning under desire. What is the ingredients that build and develop love, and understand that the intramural, right? That we might pontificate with the personal, political, Black love, but in that zone and of itself, the enemy exists. And that we can violate, and we do violate one another, right?
I was just going to round it out. This is what I'm saying about Beyonce. Just want to round that out.
Oh my God.
Oh, the AP side of it.
But I was like, what do we do with that? And that tension, I feel like we don't talk about that, but I think that's the conversation.
That's the conversation. What's underneath your desire? Because motherfuckers will be in friendships, they won't go back and forth and have conflict with people that they don't think are worthy of conflict, because conflict is also an expression of love.
Yes, it is.
Right? And I would say that in our former relationships, we were discarded, one, because I was pregnant or just had a kid, feeling very vulnerable, dark skinned, fat, like trans. These people were not. You know what I mean? They're complete opposite of that. I don't know what their politic is. Like, But I thought they had a politic of loving black people, but we didn't fit the description of the type of black people that they wanted to love. Does that
And
make sense?
I think what we're getting to, and there's something that I think the conversations around Afro-Pessimism and the leftist, Marxists and all, it's missing like a hood context where it's like, we know what agape love is because our survival is hinged on that. So it's like, I think these knowledge systems, these epistemologies and ontologies that come from the hood, from the people, the street is where it's happening at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is where we're not looking to, but we're trying, I guess, explain, like,
They didn't extrapolate.
you know what I'm saying, from the hood, but explain to people just like Marx tried to explain. Marx says, well, you know, if revolution will happen once the masses and the laborers take up theory.
Yeah.
Once they get the theory, when theory and revolution meet, that is when the universal struggle will end, and then we'll have what Lenin calls a dictatorship of the proletariat. And so I think that's the thing. I like this idea of revolutionary love, but then I'm also like, was Black August. Black August was started inside of a revolutionary struggle at the fucking prison, and George Jackson essentially sacrificed their life, their actual physical life, because they love black people so much. Complicated part about that is you also hate black women. So it's like, how you got the agape down. You know, motherfucker, I literally love black people so much that we all gonna get together, we're gonna kill the prison guards, and I'm gonna free all y'all, and we're gonna be about, and we're gonna get, as Joy James talks about, Maroonage, we're gonna do it, we're gonna be out this motherfucker. But if he succeeded in his endeavor, what would that have meant for somebody like Deme? What would that have meant for Erica? You know what I'm saying? What would that have meant for Joy James? When we talked to Dr. Joy, you know, we asked her, like, you know, a lot of cis men, black cis men, take umbrage with her work. Oh, you're not from, you wasn't incarcerated, so you know your work for formerly incarcerated people is downgraded because you. And it's like, it's a lot of niggas work talk about Mumia all day long. That's their whole personality, talk about free Mumia. Other black cis men have never been incarcerated, but they don't get that same level of discipline, a desire to hold account as somebody like Dr. Joy James and Beyonce. So my question to y'all is like, especially you, Deme, in Chicago, you are a person, you working in the annals, the political annals. You've worked in the government. You've worked in the community advocate side, but you also come from the hood, the ghetto, the south side of Chicago.
Real ghetto.
How has that, very ghetto, very. How does that inform, even though your mama told me the west side is more ghetto. As another person from the hood to another person from the hood, there's this dialectic around the hood where it's a place that you need to get out of. There is no love there. It's defunct, it's lonely, it's dark, we need to get up out. We trying to get up out this ghetto. That is that song on Belly. No way in, no way out. Niggas trying to get out. What has been a site of return for you about where you come from that has informed your love of black people, as well? Yeah,
I think for me it's the children. I think about my niece Truth, I think about my nephew BJ, I think about the kids, and I think about how scary it is growing up in the hood, and I think about how they are taught to assimilate into whiteness, assimilate to like these structures of power to be successful. I go back to Chicago several times a year, you know, just to remind them that like I'll always come home. I'll always come back and share the riches of whatever I have with you all, because you're important to me and you matter to me. And I think growing up, it would have been great to have someone like that for myself, you know. I think it was hard growing up in the hood, and I was happy when I did make it out or whatever, but I think it's always important to just go back for the kids, and I think that's like a site of love, a site of return for me.
I love that.
What about you?
First of all, I'm going to do something that I feel like a lot of academics don't do, right? I did not grow up struggling. Okay.
No, they never admit that.
Because people will use it and then to try to get into spaces. Now,
just as a side note, that's what was also missing from that conversation was people not telling on themselves.
Being honest.
Yes. And that's why I always say about our work is like, you need to just say the personal piece. We always say the personal is political, but then y'all don't be talking about the personal.
The personal.
Right? Like, so, I'm sorry.
And also that those people were not friends and you're holding somebody accountable.
You don't know them.
You don't even know them.
I don't even know if you can hold somebody accountable accountable that you look up to. That you think of on a pedestal, that you see as a possibility.
That's the way that social media will have you fooled into believe, oh, well, we've DM'd before. Like, damn, like these are so parasocial. Y'all people don't know each other at all. And you have the nerve to get on somebody's internet, Beyonce's internet, right? Sorry, I had to. And just like politic. But to bring that back, which was that to me, for most of my life, I lived with both of my parents. Both of them grew up in Flatbush. They are from the hood, you know, single parent households, making it out, like all those things that the discourses were their lives. I got the benefit of their own work and, you know, and living. And we grew up in East New York. They were committed to still living around and being with black people. I grew up in a home with a car, you know what I'm saying? Just make it clear, you know. I went to a private school that my father paid for. You know, I'm very clear about that. And went to Williams College. It was $70,000. We didn't have the money to pay for that. But just make those things very, very, very clear. That informs who I am and 100%. You know what I know and the privileges that I have. But what brings me back, I think, is actually quite similar, right? I've now been away for a year. I'm going on a year in a couple of days. August 15th was the day I left, and it is currently August 8th. And I came back this summer because I was asked to teach young people. And I was interested because I had been away for a while and I hadn't been teaching. And I've taught in youth prisons here at Crossroads Juvenile Center and taught public speaking, and it was the most formative and important teaching experience I've ever had. And I was talking to Deme about this after this year. I was teaching at a high school in Flatbush, and what I've come to understand, what I said to Deme when I was finished my last day or something like that, that we have such an obligation to these young people. And that as I'm 25 years old right now, and I remember a kid in my class this year, they did a presentation on New York City fashion. The kids were like, oh, 2015 fashion versus 2025 fashion.
Oh my God.
And I was like, whoa. So right? And they were like, I was like, wait, what's going on? And they were just talking about a decade of which I was alive for both. And I was looking at the picture and I was like, oh my God, that really is like 2015 Facebook era, you know? And I was like, oh my God, oh my goodness, this was a child. If they're 13 years old right now, 10 years ago they were 3. And so in 2015 fashion, they didn't think about it. They were 3. They were literally toddlers. Right? And they had a conception of what not B2K, but B2K15, 2015 was for them. And I was there with like another teacher who was also the same age as me, and we were like starstruck. It was like I'm getting old moment. And I said to Deme later that day, wow, we have such a responsibility, even on the cultural reproduction, to even explain to them their responsibility. We talk about our languages, our music, our dances. This is going to be a really funny term, but even Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, right? The kind of responsibility that artists have, that even Beyonce holds, to take on our traditions, make new music of it, the sampling of it all, and then give it to this new generation of black children, so that even if a child is listening to Cowboy Carter, right, did not grow up, I'm a B-Day kid. I grew up singing Freakum Dress. So this whole project was like, but there's a child who woke up that this was their Beyonce album, and they're listening to the samples and the Jolene of it all and the country music, and they get this thing, and this product and this project for them teaches them about a history of black culture. It is actually a responsibility that we have and that many of us are embodying in our cultural production. So I was just like, that really is what brings my side of return, really the things that we take for granted. Like, I'm from New York, so light feet culture, you know what I'm saying? The true religions and the things that we did, you know what I'm saying? The Ugg boots, like I could give you deep cuts, you know? A black man in an Ugg boot in 2008, you know, can do things for me. The khaki, you know? The real New Yorkers listening will know that, you know? There's actually a responsibility to reproduce that and share that with these young people, because they don't know.
They don't know.
And it's theirs,
it's
you know.
Theirs, black baby. It's not just the internet. It's not the internet. It's not just the internet. Because they live in a world where the internet is literally black culture. But we cannot take ownership of it, or we can't say that it's ours. So I love telling truth, like, girl, those box braids are yours. They were made for you.
No one
and
else.
you look great.
That's it.
The bobos, so the beads, the everything.
The knocker balls and all of this and that.
Everything.
So it's really important. The kids are our future.
Side of a term. But they are hurting, and they need our support.
They do.
Let me see.
They do. We don't have much time.
All right, we're gonna close. Have a closing question.
Closing question. Someone DM'd me and said, I listened to your post that I did after the conversation, and they were like, so what's the solution? Which is what people always ask me, right? In
prescriptive
racial
AP.
Yes, I will do a whole presentation, 3-4 hours, and people are like, "Yep, I have a question. What's the solution? Oh, that's cool. What's the solution?"
Subscribe for part 2.
Exactly.
Right.
So someone asked me essentially, what's the solution? Should white people not be in relationship with black people? Should non-black people not be in relationship with black people? Like, what do you do? Should black people who are married to or in relationship with white people right now, should they divorce?
I have a really interesting answer that actually ties to something that you do all the time.
Yes.
You see, the tea around the whole eugenics of it all,
Yes.
the tea of the whole, anti-interracial, is a question about wealth transfers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see, white people hold all of the wealth in this country. We know that. You talk about it every major holiday, right?
Yes.
Black holiday. And they don't really internalize what a reparation really is.
No.
Yes.
Right? And that the history of the intramural, the slavery, the slave play of it all,
Yes.
right? Because people, and even on that call, they're like, "Oh no, slave play." No, you were doing slave play. We are all doing slave play. Let's talk about it, right?
Okay.
When we are, in those relations.
Jesus.
So the answer being, should white people and black people have? Y'all are going to, especially when you talk about places like the South, the Bay Area.
Yes.
We are in such great intimacy, especially my Southern girls who are listening. We know. And sometimes we, especially us in the North, we think we are actually the segregated people.
Yes.
Right. The South is deeply integrated.
Yes.
Right. And the intimacies that they have.
Forced
So it's
integration.
unrealistic.
Yes.
But what we have to understand is the politic of that relation,
Yes.
right? And the question I'm going to go, and my quick answer to that is, right, well, if you're going to interracial of it all, right, how do you bring the politics and the fierceness of the politics to it? You see, when your grandmama dies, does the grandbaby get the money? No, real shit.
Yeah.
Right?
real shit.
Because the politic of the interracial
Real
marriage and
shit.
against interracial marriage,
Yes.
when we pars sequitur ventrum, this is AP.
Yes.
This is Selamawit Terrefe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is how do you create blackness in this country?
Yes.
The whole politic of it
Yes.
was we go through the matrilineal line so that the child does not get access to the master's house.
Okay.
This is what interracial politics.
Very much giving
You know, Loving
Yes.
versus Virginia is all
Come
about.
on.
Has nothing to do with who you fucking and who you loving.
No.
That's when we go back to we're human and you
Yes.
deserve these feelings, or maybe we're not
Yes.
human, right?
Yeah.
The question really is, we can bring it back to the political economy of it. Berkeley
Yes.
geographies, I got to bring it in. Where the money going? And the question about interracial politics is sometimes you be leaving your white family, you in your white family, you loving on this black person, but the real love of it all is you got to do that do the work. And the work is, okay, grandma, okay, ma, right? If you're really interested and you're invested and you're in that space and you're in that interracial relationship right now, first of all, the mayan.
Yeah.
What's tea with that bag?
With that
Because
jelly,
y'all
with
got
that
the
jelly,
wealth.
that cheese.
They got the wealth.
And the reparation of it all and the nature of this relationship and the question of all these things, to me, that the real easy question is, what's going on with the inheritance?
Yes.
Because y'all got the wealth and it came from me anyway, and so that's the tea of that.
Okay.
That's the tea.
And then the other stuff I can't say. I'm not going to get into your bedroom and the whole thing. Not right now on this episode. That's the closing question. But my closing answer is, what's tea with the reparation
What's
of it all?
tea with the reparations
You got the
of
money
it all?
and the anti-eugenics
Yeah.
of it all, the anti-interracial relationship of it all, the anti-DEI of it all is because the interracial relationship was the threat
Yes.
to the capital.
Yes.
The
Because
white
The
capital.
white
Yes.
capital.
Yes.
Right? And that was the problem that we had here.
Yes.
The mestizaje created different in Latin America. But the
Yes.
American problem of it all
Yes.
was always about who inherits the house.
Yes. Yes.
Demi?
Yes.
Ooh, y'all should have ended with him. Right?
Yes.
Demi?
Yes.
I don't think that you should if I can't be black with you. Like, if I can't show up in the way that I show up to my family reunion,
Yeah.
show up that way in the bedroom, you know?
Yeah.
If I can't key about white people on TV the way I key with my friends, then you shouldn't be
But I'm
with
Justin
me.
Bieber. I have a black soul. Mind you, he doesn't have a black partner.
He says that?
Yes, they
Some
say that
black
about
person has
Justin
said
Bieber.
that.
Well, you know, Justin Bieber can sing.
Okay.
Erica, what's your answer?
My
Last 2
answer,
minutes.
I just want to the
Yes.
class of it all, right?
Yes.
What we forget about the Laverne Cox situation is that she took a piece of her live. She did a live, and that's what she put on her page to do what? To
To promote her
show.
tour. Yeah.
She said, y'all are going to be interested in me being with this MAGA, NYPD, blonde hair, blue-eyed person. It was very much giving great genes. Okay? Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Y'all are going to buy these so that you can have access to that. So you can have some sort of taste of that. All of this function of class.
So B. Laverne, Time Magazine, first black trans person to be on Time Magazine. That is not enough to galvanize you motherfuckers.
Nope, you won't
to
go.
come out to my show.
You won't go.
You want
She
the
talked about, I went to the One Woman Show. She talked about that relationship 80% of the time.
But why
Considering how, because that's
it's
what
marketable.
gives her currency.
But that's
more than the time. My ex-wife, her grandma paid for all her loans. Did she pay for mine?
Ooh.
We were together for 8 years. She didn't say, "Oh, let me make sure that Erica has," or did my ex-wife think, "Okay, let me give Erica some of the excess money that I now have, considering my loan." My dad had to tell me that she got a roommate and I needed the security deposit. My dad figured it out. Somebody that don't even understand Venmo.
He understands.
He was like, I see some transactions here. You're gonna need to talk to her. I didn't even think to ask her about that.
Yes.
Because we're so distant from a class conversation. It's all about, let's just be together. This, you know, like when white people and black people together, they always do the picture with
my answer to that question before we close out, and I love both of y'all so much. These are
Thank you for
some.
bringing
Y'all actually give me hope.
Happy to be here.
Y'all
so
give me so much hope.
I feel like we need a part 2.
Y'all are the only light-skinned people who I listen to.
As Queen said,
in the words,
Isaiah is not light skinned.
Right.
Isaiah is having
This
a
is
tan
my
moment.
Hermes bag, okay?
Isaiah is having Isaiah is Haitian, so they're having the Toussaint that's coming through. My question is, have y'all heard of? For the answer to the question is, should black people, non-black people, and white, have y'all heard about Lacey Peterson and Scott Peterson? White people are in relationship with white people all the time. They be killing their entire families and throwing them in the garbage.
That is mostly true crime. It is mostly white people doing that.
Okay, so y'all got to understand, how are you being in a relationship even with the majority white people or majority non-black people who y'all be with?
If white culture is colonization, violence, theft, genocide, how do y'all show up in y'all relationship?
The AP girls are like, I hate me. You hate me. We hate me.
Oh, what the hell?
What we finna love?
What the hell?
What the fuck are we loving?
And the Marxist girl said, I love Marx because he's white.
That's it.
And the Beehive says, we love Beyonce.
And I'm going to be with somebody that looks like Beyonce or else.
Or Karl Marx. Either one. That's the capital.
Karl Marx?
And to round it up to Isaiah's point, that's the capital of it all.
What Karl Marx
Das
look like?
Kapital.
Das Kapital?
Huh?
We
Karl
love.
Marx a hottie?
No, he was not.
No, Desirability.
We didn't even
Y'all
get to
Nick
Vanessa. We
Landria
didn't get to
updates.
Vanessa.
I didn't even give
We
you
didn't even
Nick
get to
Landria.
Vanessa's work. Vanessa Rochelle Lewis about uglification.
Oh, yeah, uglification.
And making people ugly, and how every time a motherfucker calls somebody
We
ugly.
need a part 2.
This is gonna be a part 2 with Deme and Isaiah.
Yeah.
We love y'all.
We love y'all. Thank
We
you
love
for
you. Happy
listening.
Black August.
Happy Black August.
Happy
You're
Black
listening to
August.
Beyonce, I guess.
Erica.
The real question is, why y'all don't like light-skinned people?
Is that a part of it?